I'm sure you've heard of muscle wagons before. These cars were a perfect blend of family-friendly practicality and impressive raw power. Some muscle wagons are so rare and unique that they'll leave you itching to learn more about them. So let's explore them together. Number 10. Chevrolet Nomad. This car was designed to stand out with its unique look and impressive performance. It was introduced as a two-door station wagon that had some cool features like forward slanting B-pillars and nearly wraparound rear windows, which were not common at the time. When the Nomad was first introduced, it had a 265 cubic inch V8 engine that could give you around 195 horsepower. But by 1957, Chevrolet upped its game and offered an upgraded option with a bigger 283 cubic inch V8 that could produce some serious power, up to 283 horses if you added fuel injection. This made it one of the strongest station wagons around at the time. When it comes to how the Nomad looks on the outside, you can tell right away that it's something special. It has a really cool two-door station wagon design that was inspired by the Chevrolet Bel Air. Its shape is smooth and aerodynamic with a slanted roofline and B-pillar at an angle, making it look sporty. In 1957, they made some changes to make its tail fins bigger, which stretched out the car more and gave it even more visual pop. Plus, the inside of the Nomad was crafted to be practical and chic, providing plenty of room for travelers and goods. It usually had enough seats to accommodate 6 people comfortably, along with a back seat that could fold down in order to create more space for cargo. But there weren't that many Nomads made over time. Only 6,103 were produced in 1957. Number 9. Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser. This muscle wagon came with different types of V8 engines to choose from. The first engine was called the Rocket V8 and had a size of about 330 cubic inches. With this engine, you could get up to 300 horsepower, which gave the Vista Cruiser some pretty good speed for such a big car. It even kept up with other powerful cars at the time. The Vista Cruiser was known for its special skylight roof panel that allowed people sitting in the back to see a wider and beautiful view. The car also had wooden panels on the outside, which gave it an old-school charm just like many other wagons from that time period. This, along with its roomy interior, made it perfect for families who wanted comfortable, long trips. Although there was a good amount of Vista Cruiser cars made, it can be difficult to come across ones that are still in great condition today. Number 8. 1966 Ford Country Squire. The 1966 Ford Country Squire was part of a trend in the 60s where station wagons started to include features and specs usually seen in muscle cars. The Country Squire came with different engine options. You could either go for the 352 cubic inch V8, which gave you about 280 horsepower, or choose the more powerful one, the impressive 428 cubic inch V8 that produced up to 345 horsepower and had 462 pounds per foot of torque. Plus, the Country Squire was designed with a glamorous touch, incorporating faux wood paneling that became its iconic style. It utilized the spacious Ford Galaxy LTD framework, ensuring plenty of room for both travelers and belongings. Back then, Ford's design language included a front fascia with split grills and stacked headlights. This was the signature look that they were known for. But the not-so-happy news is that only about 47,000 of the 1966 Country Squire were made. This means it's pretty hard to come by one these days. This car was especially popular with families living in suburban areas because it had all the good stuff: a wagon for carrying things and power like a muscle car. Number 7. 1969 Chevrolet Kingswood. This ride was built on the GMB body platform with families in mind, providing them with both function and style. The Kingswood was considered more luxurious than its cousin car, the Townsman, based on Bel Air design. The Kingswood had different types of V8 engines to choose from. There was a 396 cubic inch V8 that could produce up to 265 horsepower and give you a strong torque of 400 pounds per foot. For those wanting more power, there was also an option for the powerful 427 cubic inch V8 engine, which can generate up to an impressive maximum output of around 390 horsepower. When it comes to the outside, the car has a sleek and stylish design with well-defined lines. The front of the vehicle follows Chevrolet's trendy style at that time. It also has cool headlights set low on its face and decorative cat-eye taillights, which stand out as special features exclusive only to Kingswood models. The interior of these cars were decked out in fancy vinyl or soft cloth. And get this, some even had snazzy wood grain details on the dashboard and doors to give off that luxurious vibe. The Kingswood was known for its big seats that could easily fit many people at once. Plus, there was an extra seat in the back facing backward, so even more people could hop on for the ride. The bummer is that the Kingswood only came out from 1969 to 1972. Plus, they didn't keep track of how many were made in 1969. As the years went by, there weren't as many big station wagons being produced, which makes it super hard to find one now. That's why you hardly ever see them around anymore. They're worth their weight in gold. Number 6. 1970 Plymouth Satellite Station Wagon. This unique car was a popular choice for families who wanted both room and style. It was part of the Satellite series and debuted in 1965 as Belvedere's top trim model. The 1970 Plymouth Satellite Station Wagon had a choice of engines, one being the 318 cubic inch V8 engine that made around 230 horsepower and worked with a light-duty transmission. It wasn't known for having super fast motors like the fancy Hemi models, but it still gave enough power to get your family where they needed to go. And let's not forget about the way it looked. The 1970 model kept its body style from 1968, but with a few minor changes in the front and back. If you had a big family to drive around, the station wagon version was perfect for you as it could hold up to 6 people. Plus, there was plenty of room inside because of its long wheelbase that measured at least 117 inches. When we look inside, the dashboard is simple and easy to understand. The gauges and buttons are clear and readable. The Plymouth Satellite Station Wagon became super famous after being featured in the awesome show The Brady Bunch. Because of this, lots of people who love classic TV shows and collectors really want one. Nowadays, it's not easy to come across a 1970 Plymouth Satellite Station Wagon that looks good and is in great condition. Car lovers who are into classic models really admire this car because of its mix of practicality and vintage design. Number 5. 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle Station Wagon. This car is a special and hard-to-find model that combines traditional muscle car style with practical wagon features. The 1970 Chevelle was built using Chevy's A-body platform, which gave it lots of options for engines, including super powerful V8s. Even though there wasn't an official SS version of this wagon made by Chevy at the time, people who love these cars often make them look like they do have SS upgrades, such as cowl induction to help give extra performance boosts. The 1970 Chevelle station wagon looks pretty cool on the outside too. It has a special shape called Coke bottle styling, which was popular back then. The car is also more sleek and tough-looking than older models, with a big grille at the front and smooth lines. When it comes to the interior, the 1970 Chevelle station wagon was pretty spacious. The inside was made for comfort, with carpeting all over, even in the cargo area. It's pretty rare to come across a Chevelle wagon in good condition. This is mostly because a lot of them were used as family cars back in the day, so there aren't many left these days. Number 4. 1970 Dodge Coronet Wagon. The 1970 Dodge Coronet Wagon had a bunch of different engine options to suit whatever kind of driving you want. The most basic one was the Slant 6, which gave you good mileage and enough power for your everyday needs. But if you were more into speed, there were other choices too. You could upgrade to the V8 engines like the 318, or even bigger ones like the 360 and the massive 383. And get this, some people got really fancy with their cars and went all out on a super powerful Hemi engine that only came in limited numbers. That's why those babies are so rare today. They're highly sought after by collectors who know just how special they are. When we look at the outside of the car, you can see that it had a bold front design with headlights and grille integrated into big pods. The back also matched this style to make everything look nice together. Plus, there was some fancy wood grain trim on the Coronet 500 model that just added an extra touch of class to its exterior. But did you know that the 1970 Dodge Coronet wagon is pretty rare? Only around 15,000 of them were made with different options like Deluxe, 440, and 500. Because there weren't a lot produced in the first place and not many are still in good shape today, collectors really love getting their hands on one. Number 3. Chevrolet Caprice Wagon. This full-size American station wagon was designed in a way that combined practicality with performance. One of the best things about this car is that you had several engine options available, which came in handy depending on what kind of drive you were looking for. For instance, one option called the LO3 V8 gave out around 172 horsepower, while another more powerful version known as the LO5 V8 was introduced later. When we look at the outside of the Caprice wagon, it's got a big and round shape that was popular in the 90s. In 95, they added something called a Hofmeister kink, which made this little bend by one of the back windows. Sadly, big station wagons were not in high demand towards the end of the 1990s. This made it harder to find Caprice wagons as they became quite rare. Since most families would use this type of car for hauling stuff around, there are only a few that are still in good condition today. People who like collecting cars often look out for Caprice wagons with powerful V8 engines, which make them even more special. Number 2. Buick Roadmaster Wagon. This car had 2 engine options. An earlier model with a respectable but moderate powered 5.0-liter V8 offering around 170 horsepower, or the upgraded version starting in '94, adding some serious muscle to this family cruiser, with its powerful LT1 V8 engine borrowed from performance models like Corvette, making it capable of churning out impressive power figures. Its utility is made for easygoing and practical life on daily commute roads while packing more than enough juice when needed most. The perfect blend, isn't it? Let's talk about how the Buick Roadmaster wagon looks on the outside. It has a smooth, round shape that makes it more aerodynamic, unlike older models which were more boxy. You might recognize this car for its fake wood paneling. It gives off an old-school vibe and is unique to this model. The Roadmaster wagon is big. It actually shares a platform with two other cars, the Chevrolet Caprice and Oldsmobile Custom Cruiser. Compared to other cars at the time, it was much longer, so you could definitely spot one coming down the road from far away. But did you know that the Roadmaster wagon was one of the last big station wagons made in America before everyone started buying minivans and SUVs? It was known for being really fancy, roomy, and fast, which is why collectors still love it today. Number 1. Dodge Magnum. This unique ride was made from 2005 to 2008 and falls into a special category called muscle wagons, which means it's built with both power and practicality in mind. You could choose between different engines for your Magnum, but the Hemi V8 was always an excellent option. If performance is what really matters to you, then check out the SRT8 version. That powerful engine boasts even more horsepower than before, upping its performance so much that this car can go from 0 to 60 miles per hour faster than most others at about 5 seconds flat. If we're talking about the way it looks on the outside, you can definitely describe the Dodge Magnum as bold and aggressive. You'll notice that its design includes a long hood, slanted roofline, and wide stance, all of which give off strong vibes. And in 2008, they spruced up the front grille with trendier rectangular headlights and an even cooler-looking crosshair grille. All these updates made this car look seriously fierce. The Dodge Magnum was one of the last big station wagons in America to have a powerful V8 engine. Nowadays, it's hard to find this kind of car around. Even though many people bought it when it came out, not as many wanted them once SUVs and crossovers became more popular. That's why, after 2008, they stopped making Magnums altogether. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more amazing content like this. Also, please give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comment section below. We'll see you in the next video.